Hi, good morning, and welcome to our subject, ethics. My name is Frederic C. Aniga, your professor in this subject, but of course, you can call me Sir Eric. Okay, so let us now proceed to our class. So, the first question that we have to ask is, what is ethics? Unsa man ang ethics? It is my presumption that this is not the first time for you to hear the word ethics. Am I right? No? So, more or less, in many instances or in some instances, you have heard the word ethics. And of course, we have to ask the question, what do we mean when we say ethics? Ethics comes from the Greek word ethos, which means a standard that will determine whether an action is right or wrong. Okay? So, ang aksyon sa usa ka tawo should be determined whether it is right or wrong. And when we are determining whether the action is right or wrong, then that actually is the realm of ethics. So, for example, if we will ask the question, if the submission of an assignment being done by your classmates and claim it as your own, is it good or not good? Or, for example, you are instructed by your mother for an errand and yet you did not listen to it. Is it good or not good? Or another instance is, if you are asked by your boyfriend, where are you at the present moment? And you said you are studying or you are reading, when actually, no, in reality, you are with your friends in a drinking spree, nagtagay mo, nag-inom. Will that be proper or not proper? So, the asking of the question whether it is proper or not proper, maadyo o dili maadyo, dapat o dili dapat, all these questions fall under the realm of ethics. Kaya ang ethics manggod, as I mentioned earlier, is all about determining whether the action is proper or not proper, good or not good. Now, why is it important for us to study ethics? Is it necessary for us to understand ethics? What do you think? Why is it important to study ethics? Now, we have to accept and to remember the fact that we human beings are social beings. Are we? No? Do you realize or are you aware that you are a social being? Ano nakaingon man ka nga social being ka? Ha? Yes, we are social being because we are designed to live together with other people in a community. No, we are designed, ang atong karakter, ang atong behavior, gipahiluna nga we are to live with other people in a community. No, that is why if you remember it, I do not know if you are familiar with the song No Man is an Island. Okay, diin sa maong kanta, no, gi-explain dito nga ang tao dili siya pwedeng magpudyo sa usa ka isla nga mag-inusara. We are meant to live in a community together with our friends, together with our relatives and the other people in the society. So what are the main objectives of this course? Okay, so the first is for you to understand and be familiar with the different ethical standards. Okay, there is not only one ethical standard, but there are varied ethical standards, and it would be good if you will be introduced and you will get to know of these standards. The second is for you to analyze certain problems that we meet in our community, that we experience in our community. And you can propose certain suggestions or recommendations based on what you have learned in this course. This means to say that what you have learned from this subject will be shared to your community by making certain proposals or recommendations in order to address certain problems. Because kung atong tan-aon atong komunidad, kung atong tan-aon ang atong palibot, we can see that there are many issues that are ethical in nature. So, the first question that can be asked is, unsa may imong nabuhat, unsa may imong nahimo para pag-address niini nga mga issues. And the third is, for you to be aware of ethical standards in business administration. You are students pursuing business administration, so in the future, you'll be businessmen or you'll be working in business establishments. So it is important that you are aware and you are familiar with the ethical standards that should be observed in these business establishments. And of course, the last is that you will be able to imbibe. Now, this is the challenge of this subject, because unlike in other courses or other subjects wherein it is only sufficient that they will get to know and memorize the principles, but in this subject, now the most evident or concrete evidence that you have learned from this subject is for you to imbibe what you have learned into your actual life. Okay? That ang imong nakatunan din sa maong subject, dili ra kutob ra sa huna-huna. No, it is only in the level of the mind, but it is expected that you have to apply this in your life, that you yourself will become an ethical person. Usa ka tawo nga nagpudyo subay sa mga ethical standards diri sa atong community, diri sa imong linya, no, being a business administration students. So these are the things that we are or you are expected to develop, no, after the end of the semester. Now, we talk about standards. In ethics, unsa may kasagaran nga basihan so that we can know and we can say that a certain action is proper or not proper. Okay, dinhi mo sud ang morality. Morality. For some, the terms ethics and morality are interchangeable. When we say ethics, they mean morality. And if they say morality, they mean ethics. There is a hairline distinction between ethics and morality. But the difference is, when we speak of ethics, it is a specific standard or guide of actions, while morality is a personal conviction about what is good and what is evil. Unsay maadyo ug unsay dautan, then that will refer to morality. Okay, let's go back. Unsa may kasagarang basihan so that we can say that an action is good or evil. For us, religious people, Christian people, one of our bases of our ethical standards and morality is or are the 10 commandments. Diba? We understand that God has given us the 10 commandments, and based on these 10 commandments, our actions must be measured whether or not they are in accordance to it or not in accordance to these commandments. So that kung ang imong aksyon, if your action is in violation of the 10 commandments, then your action is considered evil or not good. But if your action is in accordance to the 10 commandments, then we can say that your action is good. For example, unsa may usa sa mga apil sa balaod sa Ten Commandments. Nagiingon, thou shall not kill. So meaning to say, if ever a person kills somebody, then that action, the act of killing, is in violation of the Ten Commandments. Therefore, your action is considered evil. Your action is a violation of the Ten Commandments. Another commandment says, you should respect your parents. So, if you are respecting your parents, and that is in accordance to the Ten Commandments, then your action is considered good. If you are disrespectful of your parents, wa kay respeto sa imong mga ginikanan, then that is a direct violation of the Ten Commandments. Therefore, your action is not considered good. In fact, it is considered evil. Mayon sila nga gabaan ka, no, dunay silot nga mahitabo nimo through gaba if in case you are disrespectful to your parents. Okay, so this is one of the bases of morality, of ethics, the Ten Commandments. But for those others who are not Christians, Muslims for example, or Hindu, or Buddhist, or other religions or sects, no, sekta, then they have their own standards based on their religious belief. Now, since this religious belief are rather more abstract, not powerful enough to compel a person to follow and observe the standards, then we have the positive law. Unsa man ang positive law? Okay? So, when we speak of positive law, this refers to the laws, no, that are implemented by a state or by a government or in our local government units, no? Mao ni ang mga resolusyon, mao ni ang mga balaod nga gipasunod diha sa atong mga kalungsuran, so that if our actions violate these laws, ordinances, then your action is considered not only illegal but also unethical. Okay? So, mao ni ang atong mga basihan ngano o kung kanusa ang atong mga lihok matawag nga maadyo or matawag nga dautan. So, the basic principle is, kung nakabantay mo, the basic principle is, ang atong mga lihok, our actions can considered be good, ethical, or moral if these are in accordance to the standard, to the moral standard, to the ethical standard, to the law. But if your action is in violation to these standards, then your action will be considered immoral or unethical or illegal. So perhaps at this point in time, makahinumdum na mo, no, sa inyong personal experiences, what actions have you done that you can say are illegal or perhaps immoral or unethical? Or another question is, what do you think are the moral standards or ethical standards being observed in your community? Do na ba? In my time, for example, when I was still very young, it was emphasized for us small kids, small children, to show respect to our parents or to our elders by kissing the hands. So every time nga mo abot na ang alasay sa kagabhion, and then after the prayers, then we are to kiss the hands of our tito, tita, lolo, lola, and other elders, our parents, for example. So, if you are doing that during my time, it was good. No? Kissing the hands of the elderly is good. But, if you don't kiss the hands of your elderly, then you will be reprimanded. kasukan ka tungod kay ang dili pag-amin sa mga kamot sa among mga katiguangan is a show of disrespect. So the standard is kissing the hands of the elderly as a gesture of respect. If you do that, your action is ethical, your action is good. But if you don't do that, then you are considered disrespectful. Your action is unethical. Your action is considered bad. No? So mao na based on my experience how we observe ethics during our time. Sa inyong panahon karon, what do you think are the ethical standards that are being imposed on you so that when you do it, your action is considered good, but if you don't do it, your action is considered evil? At least at this moment, it is clear to us, it is clear to you that ethical standards are based on certain principles. And in our case, we have the Ten Commandments, that is the basis of our morality, of our moral standards. No? So at least we should be familiar with the Ten Commandments. I understand and I know that this is being taught to you when you were still kids, when you were still in the elementary, and even in high school, especially if you're attending a Catholic school or a private school. The Ten Commandments is always being introduced. And also, the practices in our community, in our barangay. What are these norms and standards that have to be observed in our barangay? No, during my time, in terms of relationship sa baji o sa laki, ang baji dapat maghuwat sa laki. It would be unethical or it would not be unacceptable in the community kung dunay baji nga maoy maguna-una sa mga laki. Okay? So dapat ang laki maoy manguyab sa baji. That is the standard. Okay? I do not know today if this standard still being observed in your community. Tungod kay sa among panahon, kung ang baji maoy maguna-una sa mga laki, then that lady or that woman will be regarded negatively in the community. So you see, in this subject, ethics, it will have a direct impact and relationship to the way we live our life. That is why it is important that everything that you have learned in this subject will be applied in our actual life situation. So we will have more in our next topic.